Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nitty Gritty to Balance podcast. I'm your host, Abigail, and joining us each episode is my mom, Stacy, a holistic health coach and intuitive. Each week, we discuss topics through the lens of her work and subspecialties to bring to light the balance in the everyday. So, with that, let's bring in the brains behind the balance and get this episode started. Welcome back, everyone, to NGB. Today is part 2 of our gratitude and forgiveness episode, where we dig deep into the nitty-gritty of forgiveness. We hope you enjoy.
And so I think that moves us beautifully into our next little piece on forgiveness. And, this can be such a hard word for people. And a lot of people have pushback on the word forgiveness. And the important thing to know about forgiveness is that it's not just about words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I forgive you. Don't worry about that. It is so much more. And it's not the forgive and forget and trying to erase what happened. It's not about any of that. And forgiveness is about freedom and peace.
Because if you think about it too, like what you just mentioned, if you're just, responding with words, it's fine, don't worry about it. Whatever feelings you have inside, those statements are just pushing it down.
Mm.
And you're kind of telling yourself and your nervous system to just forget about it. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But you're not allowing yourself to fully feel the scope of emotions, to allow it to work through the body and allow yourself to forgive.
Yes. And it's from a place of self-care and reclaiming all of you.
Yeah.
That's really what forgiveness is about, is just having that space back and not carrying that weight.
Because it's almost like the words trick you into forgiving or trick someone into thinking that they're forgiven.
Yeah.
And that doesn't do our bodies any favors.
Yeah. And it's not about pretending that it didn't hurt you or didn't happen,
Yeah.
or it's not about the forgive and forget or excusing or condoning. Forgiveness is not about any of that. The forgiveness is about forgiving yourself, because a lot of times we are the ones that did something and we're holding the weight of that. And it's about letting that go for yourself.
Yeah.
But if it is somebody that wronged you, then it also can then be about that person. But it's both.
Yeah.
It's yourself and potentially forgiving somebody else.
I like that you tied those both in, because I think people often see forgiveness as someone wronged me, I must forgive. Or how do I forgive this person? But that's really, really important that, we kind of turn around, look at ourselves,
Mm.
and find the places or the times or the experiences that we can forgive ourselves, because that's where the real healing is coming from. And the quicker or the easier we learn to forgive ourselves, the easier we can forgive others.
Absolutely. When you can do something for yourself, it's easier to have that understanding
Yeah.
to direct that to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about freeing yourself. It's realizing that you don't have to carry this around for your whole life.
Yeah.
You can set it down. and let it go.
Mhm. And it's interesting too, those things that we are holding on to, those things that we are carrying around with us, those are the parts of us that need the most attention, that need the most that self-care to forgive.
Yeah. Yeah, that self-care, self-love.
I love how you kind of went out and listed like the misconceptions about forgiveness because yes, I think as people we have a very skewed idea of what forgiveness is. So I like that we really laid that out and painted that for our listeners, that forgiveness is not about the surface level words that you say. It goes much deeper than that.
It has to, because if you're just gonna speak the words and think, "Okay, that's done," your body remembers.
Yeah.
It really isn't done. The memory is still there. And we're gonna walk through a little process on how to navigate through almost coming to completion with forgiveness, because it is a process.
Yeah.
This may be something that has been with you for decades, whether you did something to somebody that you're not letting yourself get over, or somebody, maybe did something to you.
Yeah.
And so it's important to kind of understand what that process looks like to help fully release it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is kind of multi-layered,
Mm.
as a lot of what we do. It's going to be healing and growth and mindfulness.
Yeah. We just want to recontextualize forgiveness for everyone listening and kind of give you something, to really grasp onto to bring yourself through the act and the action of forgiveness.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, kind of what we were speaking to at the beginning, is that this is more of the masculine. So this is the act, the action of doing it. And it is, it starts with some mindfulness, but then moves into action. So the first one is, would be to release whatever it was. And so by doing that is first you have to call attention to it. You have to understand what it is that's being stored or that you're clinging to and not releasing. So whether again it's something that you did or somebody, did to you, so it's the experience and it's an interaction, a trauma,
Mhm.
something that has deep emotions, feelings, or a memory
Yeah.
that you just kinda can't shake or get rid of, or it's just constantly playing.
And what's interesting too is that, yes, this, whatever action, experience, whatever happened to us that we are holding on to intentionally or not, it can then create a story in our minds. And so, what is that story that we're holding on to? And kind of help to unravel that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the first step is that attention.
Yep, that awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about that story that we kind of, you know, wrap it up in, if it's something that we may have done to somebody else, they may not have thought it was that big of a deal.
That's true.
And if it wasn't something that was discussed and kind of come to a completion that way, we can really run with it and turn it into this really big thing that we've got some really big regret or emotions about, that may not even need to be there.
Yeah.
So why carry that? Why keep that going, taking up space when it may not even be a big deal?
Yeah.
So it's worth bringing awareness, investigating, and from there, then you put the intention into it that this no longer serves me, and this may not be as deep as it needs to be.
Yeah.
And you set the intention that you're going to do the work to release it
Yeah,
and let it go.
exactly. Yeah, what a disservice to ourselves
Yes.
to hang on to this, you know, deep set of feelings that maybe doesn't even mean anything to anyone else.
Right.
And we're the ones suffering with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Find that, draw that attention, allow that release.
Yeah. And it's not to erase it. Again, forgiveness is not to forget. It's not to erase it or rewrite it. Yeah. It's just to understand it. And we'll get a little bit more into that. So after you bring the awareness and the intention to release it, you move into compassion. That is the next step for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And this can be a little hard for people to find, especially if they were wronged. If they feel that they were wronged or they truly were traumatized by something, it can be very hard to find compassion in that.
Yeah.
But this is where the transformation happens because this bridges the pain to peace.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful thing that is. And it is a bridge. It is a journey. It is an intentional walk to get to the other side. It is intentional work to get to the other side.
I have a question on that. Do you think, in a scenario where you're trying to draw compassion from the situation, but there maybe is not compassion to draw up from, let's say, if you were wronged by someone else, if there's not necessarily a way to find compassion for the other person, let's say, is it then we turn around and look at ourselves and find compassion for ourselves in that moment or that experience?
It's going to be all of it.
Yeah.
The thing about it, and it's not a one and done. I mean, this is as long of a process as it needs to be.
And I wanna draw that point in again because an experience that we have that we're holding on to, that we're now discovering is owed forgiveness, creates a story in our head. That story in our head then becomes identity. So it is really, tearing down this facade
Yeah.
and getting to the true core of who you are and rewriting that experience in a way to offer that forgiveness. And so, like you said, it's not a one and done. It's not a one and done sit down, journal session, therapy session, whatever it is. And boom, you are forgiven or you have forgiven. It is this process. And I think, yeah, I want to take this moment to express that.
Yeah. There's lots of avenues, lots of layers, and lots of ways that one would need to look at the experience. And so the compassion piece of it is seeing the humanity in yourself and others. And when you can start seeing people as humans that are flawed, that make mistakes, that are at their own level of learning and knowing, you start to soften a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the compassion piece is that you have to look at every single side of that whole story. And you really do have to work with somebody experienced that can help you identify what is real in that story,
Yeah.
what was maybe brought in from emotions and maybe this is a long time, thing that happened that, maybe pieces get a little more fuzzy or whatever it is, it's very involved.
Yeah.
But the compassion piece is definitely part of the forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it goes to us. It's not just having compassion for this possible other person.
Right.
It is absolutely 100% having that compassion also for you in the now, but also, if it was something that happened in the past, way in the past, having compassion for the people involved at that period of life as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny thinking about this. It's kind of a trend on social media, but it's very powerful at the same time. It's, sometimes funny, sometimes serious, but one of the funny ones, one of the jokes is, imagine you're asking me to work a 9 to 5, but this is who you're talking to, and then it's a photo of this person as a 6-year-old little girl or little boy, and it's funny because that's that compassion piece. We think about, if it's something from childhood, you think about who that person was way back then, and, you know, this can go into, bullying in school. Just think about the person that you were, or the
Mhm.
person that, wronged you in school, and just imagining those little baby faces, and
Yeah.
that sense of compassion that you can find easily for, a little child. That's that's that sense of compassion. So kind of to my point before, finding what compassion feels like
Yeah.
is important. That way once you found it in the now.
Right.
But yes, it's funny, it reminds me of that online trend.
Yes, and that really goes to, we can tend to be hard on ourselves because, oh, I didn't handle that
Mhm.
great. If it's something that you're hanging on to, some experience or something that you did to somebody, let's say in high school, yeah, look at, your maturity level and what you were involved with at that time or any of that, all of those pieces.
Yeah.
Right. You have to also take that in account when you're in the now deciding to forgive, to release,
Yeah.
to understand it. You have to take in all those pieces
Yeah.
to have compassion for it.
I was gonna say compassion's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from there, then we move into freedom.
Mhm.
Once you can have compassion for that whole thing and all that were involved, you move into freedom.
Yeah.
You're starting to release it. You're starting to let it go. It's opening up this space and expanding you. And that is emotional liberation and reclaiming
Yeah.
of yourself.
Yeah. It's like that weight is lifted off your shoulders, like you've released this tension that your body's been holding on to.
Yes, and you literally feel this lightness. It's a wonderful feeling. And this is where you do really start feeling the effects in the body
Yeah.
going through this process. And then from there is acceptance. And again, this can be a really hard one for people because you are now in the space to realize that this happened. You're accepting it. At the same time, you're letting it go.
Well, I love how you laid this out because I think it may be obvious that that awareness or that attention to the issue is the first step. But then I feel like, the steps in between can be kind of confusing. What do you do next? But obviously, the result that we're looking for is that acceptance. But I I don't know that you can authentically find the acceptance without that release, that compassion,
Passion.
that sense of freedom
Yes.
to then allow yourself to accept what happened.
Yes. And it's not, again, it's not rewriting the story. It's understanding that you went through it,
Mhm.
that this happened. this was an experience, but now you see it from a 360 view.
Yeah.
It's not this first person view anymore. And so you really understand that story to its fullest and then to its completeness.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
once you can accept it and see it for what it was, an experience, then you move into integration, and that's the last step.
Yeah.
That is, what did I learn? I went through this experience. I had this. I understand it. I'm releasing. I'm forgiving. I'm feeling free. My heart is full. I can accept that this was a part of my life. And now what did I learn from it? And how do I move forward now from this in a free space?
Yeah. That integration piece to me, visually thinking about it, it's almost like your life, you live it in a linear way, right? You're moving forward day after day. Something happens and you have like this piece of you that is hanging out to the side. And after you work through that emotion, you work through to release it. You work through, that freedom stage, that acceptance stage, that integration is where it becomes part of you again. And it's like that piece fits in that portion of your life, however long or short, it's clicked back into place. And now we can continue moving forward, but feeling lighter at the same
And
time.
whole.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a really beautiful picture. I really like that it was this piece that was hanging out here, weighing you down, keeping you back. You don't really understand maybe the fullness of it, but once you go through that process, now you can totally appreciate it and accept it and say, "Oh yes, you are a part of me." And
You've always been a part of me. I have neglected.
the understanding you, it, and yeah, and once you go through the steps, you go through the process, you bring that back into you, even though you brought it back in, you still feel light.
Mhm.
You now have all this forward momentum. It's not keeping you
Yeah.
way down in the past.
Right.
And again, it deserves the question of, what did I learn from this? Whether it is, and we all learn something from all of our experiences. And so, was it resilience, courage, power, values, priorities, boundaries, wisdom? It did something beautiful for you that helped to build the character that you have within you. I mean, it did something powerful.
Yeah.
We just don't see it because we don't want to see the fullness of what that experience was.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I'm a little bit speechless.
Mm.
So I think it's so beautiful how you laid that out in, this process that it is. And it is kind of like stair step to get to the end result, which is that freedom,
Yeah.
that acceptance.
Yeah. And each one takes as long as it takes.
Yeah.
But it is important to go through each one to bring that forgiveness to completion.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to also state that there is science that backs up how important forgiveness is. John Hopkins Medicine Journal had an article that the title of it was "Forgiveness, Your Health Depends on It." And it's a really quick read, so anybody interested, definitely read it. And it does, it talks about how forgiveness the act of forgiving um, can do a lot like what gratitude does. It lowers blood pressure, cortisol.
Yeah.
It helps the vagus nerve. It puts your body into a parasympathetic state.
Yeah.
It has overwhelming effects
Yeah.
on the body.
On the body. And that is kind of our overarching message, is that these emotions are so strong. And yeah, I love that you kind of put that article in there. Maybe we can have the link to it down below. So
Sure.
after this episode, if anyone wants,
Yeah.
to investigate on that quick read, we can have that below for you.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And so from there, then we can move into a quick little practice.
We have to give our listeners a practice. We love a practice.
We try. We want to make all of this practical, doable, actionable type things. And so we have, releasing through compassionate reframing. And this doesn't excuse the action again. And I mean, we've stated that over and over and over as we talk about forgiveness. It is not about excusing anyone or anything, but it reclaims your power to respond with compassion instead of bitterness.
Yeah.
And as you practice this, it's easier and easier and easier to find forgiveness in things that pop up, in things that happen, in wrongs that somebody does to you or you do to others.
Yeah.
It's easier and quicker to just start letting it go and not carry it with you when you start to put this into a practice.
And to your point at the end of your action steps, of course, really asking yourself, what did I learn from this? So it's not forgiving your actions to others. Okay, move on. Now you do it again. Okay, forget, it's not to repeat any cycle.
Right.
Always asking yourself, what did I learn from this? And day by day, it's easier to pick up on these things, but it's also easier to kind of push out the bad habits or the instinctual action or mindset.
Yes, you evolve.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of focusing, honing in on that growth and that integration and pushing yourself
Yeah.
to be better and to move forward
Yeah.
from, the actions and the experiences that we kind of beat ourselves up over.
We definitely do. Yeah. So we have release through compassionate reframing, understanding everybody's human. We all make mistakes. And then you move into the body-based letting go.
Yeah.
And so this takes it out of just the mental thinking of to forgive, and it puts it into the physical.
Right.
The actions, going through the steps of letting go, whether it's something very simple and easy and just takes the actual, awareness and then, yep, I'm going to let this go, to some of the deep seated things that we go through that need to take more time. So going through those steps, and then the gratitude as closure. What did you learn from it? How can you be thankful for it? And really closing it, releasing it, setting yourself free.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, is setting yourself free.
Yeah. I have a funny question. There's kind of this, I guess maybe internet presence, and sorry, it's my generation. I'm chronically online, I guess. But there is this, with spiritual awakenings and, people becoming more and more aware of how their actions impact people and situations that they interact with. People are becoming more and more aware of their wrongdoings and wanting to forgive themselves, forgive others. And there's sometimes people that will reach out over social media to someone that they went to high school with, and they've been stewing and dwelling on, beating themselves up over something that they did in high school. They've come to the point where they've realized they need forgiveness for themselves, but now they also want to extend an apology to this person. And so they do. They send a message, over social media, and this person receives this message and they're like, "Well, you were really mean to me. I'm not going to forgive you, but glad you're on this journey." What do you say to that? To the person that's wanting to apologize for something that happened 15 years ago, and this person's like, "You mean nothing to me. And why are you why are you bringing this up?" What kind of aspect in that does someone have to learn from? I guess is my question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What happens when somebody maybe won't accept our apology? Then that's their journey.
Yeah.
Just as it is your journey that you took yourself through those steps. And once you put that out there, then that's for them. It's you did your part for you. And so you have to have peace in that. Because once you put something out there,
Yeah.
as we all know, it's no longer yours. So once you make that decision to put that out there, then you have to be able to release that as well.
Yeah.
And so if they're still holding on to that you did them wrong, then that's their forgiveness journey.
Yeah.
That's not for you to say, "Oh, no, no, but
You have to
it's over. We're done." You know, however it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you now have to be at peace that, okay, I reached out, they didn't receive it how I wanted them to receive it, and you have to reflect on that. Is there more for you to understand about how you hurt them?
Yeah.
Is there more for you to understand on what it truly means for you to forgive yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of where I was thinking too, you know, really understanding, is this, kind of an outside source of validation that you're looking for? Otherwise, maybe you haven't healed
No.
as fully on your own as this practice is, trying to get you to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think that you may need to go back to the compassion part because then you may not fully have the compassion for yourself. If you're still looking for that validation that somebody else has to forgive you and allow you to forgive yourself,
Right.
there's a piece there that you're missing.
Yeah.
And it is in that compassion.
Yeah.
When you can completely see that whole situation in that 360 view, and if that apology didn't go how you wanted it to, if that strikes a chord with you, if it still kind of gives you some feelings, then you've got to investigate further. But if you're like, okay, I put that out there, now that's for them to deal with on their own, and I'm feeling complete in what I did, and I truly can release this for myself, then you know that you've moved through the process and the steps as fully as you need to for yourself.
I love that. I think that's certainly a piece that I could see myself getting tripped up on,
Sure.
wanting someone else to say, "Yes, I forgive you," to then
Yes.
feel that, "Okay, it's okay, I can forgive myself."
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true, though.
And I think about this often with what I talk about a bit here in our podcast that, with my experience with my father, and then when I went through the forgiveness process with myself, with him, and how I put that into action. When I did that, he had already passed. How would it be so different, if he was still around and I got to confront him in the journey that I went through in understanding who he was and how hurt he was as a human.
Yeah.
And would that have made any difference in our conversations? Would he
Yeah.
treat me any differently? Would I be able to interact with him any different?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can only hope that it would have changed our relationship
Yeah.
for the better.
That is
It's interesting.
a really interesting aspect. Talking about forgiveness as it pertains to someone that's no longer here. Yeah. That's another deeper layer to expand on and explore within ourselves.
Mhm. But I can truly, look at him for who he was, and I do have appreciation for the person that he built
Mm.
through that. Although I didn't discover that person until fairly recently, the strength that it gave me, but it's, it turned into a beautiful story for myself,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it.
That's really powerful.
Mm,
I love that.
yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful, mama.
Thank you.
And I think it kind of drives that point home even more, you know, that closure is that clarity. That closure is
That 360 view.
mhm. I love how well-rounded that was. I mean, forgiveness is it's such a deep topic and
It's a painful topic for a lot of people.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did forgiveness a good a good explanation.
I hope so.
A
I
good
hope that helps people in this season when they are maybe surrounding themselves with people that they have some grievances with. Maybe they can start taking themselves through these steps
yeah.
and having a more full heart and start investigating that compassion for themselves and others.
Mhm. Let's find balance in
Mhm.
today. Classic NGB. For forgiveness, since we're on that same, path here still, forgiveness is a holistic mind body experience. It's a journey that brings healing and transformation. And ultimately, I hope that we are really able to dissect that for everyone listening. And, it teaches us that letting go can be a powerful act of self care, as we've really pointed to a lot throughout the episode here. Kind of reshaping the way we experience life and enjoy connection with others,
Yeah.
just expanding in that more.
And something that I read and I loved it, and it's just beautiful with this, is that gratitude looks forward with an open heart, and forgiveness looks backwards with the same open heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
And again, this is why these two are in the same episode. Right. Because as different as they are,
Yeah.
as polarizing as they are, there is this duality to them that is gorgeous. And you have, the feminine of the gratitude and the masculine of the forgiving, yet they still come from the same center in
Right.
our bodies, which is the openness of your heart. And yeah, it's interesting to kind of think, how they come together, how they melt together at the end of the day. and practicing the gratitude for the easy things, the good things, the joyous things, and then how we tied it into, finding the gratitude in the painful moments. This ties directly back to painful emotions, experiences that we are learning to forgive
And learn from.
and learn from.
What did it teach us?
Yeah, exactly.
And I wanna just really quickly throw in a little bit of numerology in here, is that 2025 is a 9 year. And anybody not familiar, that this is a year of closing, that the last decade, the last year, it's all coming to a close, and people may be feeling the heaviness and things may be stirring in them, and they might not have an understanding of
Mhm.
why is all of this coming up? It's because the energy of the universe is that this is a 9 year
Yeah.
and things are to come to a close. Wrap up loose ends, get things figured out, clear out the clutter, because next year is a 1 year,
Mhm.
which means new beginnings. And so you got to clear this out
Yeah.
to start things new. And it's painful, it's tough. I am experiencing a whole lot.
Yeah.
The universe is shaking up my world this year, but I keep telling myself it is for the new and it's okay. I'm going
Yeah.
to get through it.
Yeah.
And things are going to be beautiful again.
Mhm.
We got to go through this to learn.
Yeah. It is intense,
It
and
is.
I'm right there with you.
Are you? Yeah.
There's been a lot that I've gone through the past 2 years. 2025 specifically has been a lot, and it is so interesting. Yeah, you've reminded me of that quite a bit recently as we're both, sharing in what we're experiencing and going through and struggling with, and
Well, now that the year's coming to a close,
yes.
it feels like it's really ramping up. I know for
Yes.
me,
Yep,
it is.
exactly. But at the same time, 2025 is coming to a close. It's a 9 years, so it's the end of a cycle. However, 2025 is in the middle of the decade that we're in. So, how are we moving forward into 2026, which is coming into the second half of this decade? But also, 2026 is a 1 year, and we're starting new, we're starting fresh. And I'm just getting this sense now, but what what an episode we will have kind of wrapping up the year and moving into the new year.
Mhm.
It's it's gonna be fun to chat
Yeah.
about the future.
Yeah. And so I want to leave all of our listeners, hopefully this gratitude and forgiveness episode really hopefully sparked some fullness in your heart. But if the forgiveness piece is weighing on some of you, I just want everybody to know that you're not alone. There are people out there to help and to seek that help.
Yeah.
And find the professionals, find the loved ones that support you fully, find the groups and talk and work through it. Don't hang on to it because there is no need.
Well, we've reached my favorite part of the episode. And if you've been following along with NGB for a while now, it's time to pull our oracle card. 2 of them. Well, it's time to read our oracle cards. Because as always, they've been sitting with us throughout the entire episode.
Mhm.
I'll go first.
I was going to say, yeah, because you did gratitude first,
Yeah.
and I'll go.
So we've pulled 2 cards unintentionally, but it's just how it happened from our Akashic Truth Oracle deck. My card today reads, Take the High Road. You are at an impasse with a relationship or a situation. It's now time to think bigger, release desired outcomes, and take the most positive course of action.
Nice.
Take the high road. We're back. We had to take a second because the second card that we pulled is an interesting one. And it's essentially asking us to pull another card because there's no message on this card. But the main question here is ask your guides to reveal the one life area most in need of your attention right now. So we drew another card with that intention and that question. So go ahead and reveal.
Consider the options. You've narrowed your focus to one desired outcome, and you might be missing a bigger opportunity. Open up and let the universe send you the highest possible result.
Wow.
Take the high road.
Take the high road. Consider the options.
Consider the options.
And take the high road.
Which is you've narrowed your focus, so it's open up. Look at more.
Okay, and I'll read this one again because wow. This one is saying you're at an impasse with a relationship or a situation. It's now time to think bigger, release desired outcomes, and take the most positive course of action.
Wow.
It's funny because this is not necessarily a message for us. This is a message for someone listening.
Yeah. Anybody listening. Yeah.
And so funny how there's duality in both of these cards, but they are
So similar.
wow.
Beautiful.
These are great. I'm really loving these, and I wonder what you guys are extracting from them. Because these are pretty powerful together.
They are, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it.
All right.
That closes out today's episode, everyone. Thank you so, so much for listening. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We are grateful. And
Great.
if you missed last week's episode, we forgive you. But we can't wait to sit and share a conversation with you guys next time. So until then, be well,
be balanced, and have a wonderful holiday season.
Happy holidays.
Bye. Thank you for listening. This episode is for educational purposes only. The information is not intended to give medical advice or therapy. Please consult with a licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your health regimen. Also know that you are responsible for your life choices and circumstances. Until next time,
be well
and be balanced. Bye.
Bye.